the embracing of this openness and of this and understanding the fact that people are moving their communications to a more open medium and using tools like Twitter and social networking and YouTube and all these things, and just the fact that the mayor and his team are so quickly getting onto all of these tools and taking advantage of them and in such innovative, smart way and saving the city money at the same time is really impressive to us. We never sort of expected, when we created Twitter, that so many great use cases, and specifically local government, and making it so much more participatory than it ever was, and making people feel like they really have an opportunity. I was asking some of the folks in the office, I was telling them about this and telling them about this event today, and they were like, "That's great. There's been so many times when I've wanted to I've seen something weird like a mattress in the road or whatever,
There you go.
and what are you going to do? Call 911? It's not really that big a deal, but if I could just fire off a text message and feel good about it, like I just contributed, they feel like they're part of it. I think that's great. So kudos to you guys for building this so quickly, and I'm looking forward to seeing where it goes.
I appreciate that. And you guys, again, just back to our original conversation of a few months ago, have there been any other applications dissimilar? Not obviously the same, because we extend that this is unique, but what other applications are you seeing government utilize Twitter with?
Well, we're definitely seeing a lot of exploration. I think there's a lot of folks following your lead for sure. I don't know if he's your nemesis or your friend, but Cory Booker.
Cory is a good friend.
Cory dropped
That's
in.
the problem.
Cory dropped in recently to the area to just begin, to sit down with us and with folks at other companies to say, like, what am I not doing that I should be doing right now? And I think the initial steps for most of these folks are to leverage Twitter search to find out what are people saying in the area, so you can find out what are people talking about in San Francisco that's meaningful. We haven't seen this level of integration yet, but I have a feeling that this is going to be a template, and that starting tomorrow we're already going to start seeing, which is great.
Exactly
Which is what you want to have happen. If you create something good, you want it cloned and you want it working everywhere. So, but we've seen a lot of just in general government. From both local to bigger government agencies, and that extends out to NASA, using Twitter for communications.
Wow.
There was an astronaut that was twittering recently from outer space. Then there was the Mars Pathfinder. There's a lot of fire departments, police departments that are finding interesting ways to disseminate information quickly to the community. And then, of course, there's members of Congress who are using it in interesting ways. Some people are a little afraid of what they're going to say next. But
that's true.
I think we're in a real exploratory phase here with all of this stuff, and I think you guys are taking it to the next level by hooking it up to the ecosystem and actually creating a usable, valuable tool that you can use to track these tweets and really make progress.
I appreciate it. Nancy,
your response should be there already.
Oh, good. Yeah, I should check it out.
What do we got?
And Nancy, so tell me, what the D311? How does that all? Tell us what happens here on the back end when this arrives.
Right. It's a direct message that's sent to 311 so that we can then process the request and send it to the appropriate department if it's a service request that people are submitting, or if it's an informational type of request like the one that Mayor Newsom just did, he will then get the response, along with a link if it's appropriate to the question that was asked.
What else about it?
Yeah.
Is it, there we are, the next level, perfect. And my Wi-Fi's a little slow. The next one, June 7th, 2009 in the Mission.
All right.
For more information, visit our website. Ed Lee, how about that? What do you think? Pretty good, huh? It works. Chris, you want to?
I think the only other thing I'd like to add, Nancy, is that can we send pictures along with the tweets?
Yeah, that's right.
Yes, you can absolutely send pictures, so that helps the agencies address the issue. And the other important thing that we have on our website is we do have sample tweets for the most requested services, so that people can know what the information that we need to be able to process the request appropriately.
And the limitation again on Twitter is 140.
Right. It's done that way so that it'll work seamlessly across both mobile texting or SMS and computers. So you'll always see the message in its entirety no matter where you're viewing it.
Right.
And that was important to us because we wanted to sort of be agnostic with regard to how you wanted to use Twitter, whether you wanted to use it on a website or on a mobile phone or wherever. So this way, people can be out in the street and they can see something and they can act immediately. And that's another aspect of Twitter, is that everything is happening very close to real time. So when you see something, it's going immediately to the call center, it's immediately getting taken care of.
Right, and the sample tweets are limited to the 140
Right.
characters, so we specifically tell you what it is that we need that can be accomplished within the 140 characters.
And the other thing I'd like to say is we've been showing an iPhone today, and certainly it works very well on an iPhone, but it also works on a BlackBerry or a non-smartphone. You can still text using SMS, or as you said, you can use your computer. Not everybody has a cell phone, or not everybody has a smartphone, so you can just use your computer. And I would also add that if you are using your computer and you want to go to the SF.gov website, you will have an icon on the front that will walk you through step by step on how to register with Twitter in order to take advantage of the service.
Follow.
There it is
Follow.
right there.
It's amazing. I mean, just people watching us right now, Twittering right in. Luckily, they're not saying anything negative, but it's okay. Thank you. Again, the technology and the opportunity. But I love the idea of photographs. I mean, the mattress example is a legitimate example. It's one we have all the time. But graffiti is one of the biggest complaints we get, and someone wants to show a graffiti tag. They can photograph the graffiti tag. They can tweet that right over to 311 and then get a response in real time. And again, it's just about it's about empowering people, not just representatives of government, but people that we're here to represent, and making sure they're part of the solution, and encouraging people to engage directly is really the spirit of our times. And that's the opportunity, is to have 800,000 eyes and ears out on the streets of San Francisco alerting us to what needs to be done, as opposed to waiting for us to figure it out and then reacting to it. And so, again, I really just think this is a huge advancement, and at zero cost, it's an extraordinary example of technology creating more opportunity, driving down and democratizing information, bringing it into our hands, and creating at the same time more accountability for us. Because remember, these come in, and it's Ed Lee as our Chief Administrating Officer, and DPW and others that are going to be, and I see Ed Riskin right in the back there. It's ultimately your job to make sure we respond to all of these in real time.
I love what you're saying too about the fact that it's not about the technology, about the people. That's one of the driving sort of ethos we have at the company, is that we've built these simple tools, and what it's ultimately about really is not the triumph of technology, it's about the triumph of humanity. And that's what you guys are kind of putting on display for us. It's just like, look, we're taking what you guys made and we're doing something with it, and we're empowering people to do something with it. And that's all that we hope will happen sort of on a global level.
Right.
And we just need to keep working.
That's great. So with that, we're happy to take any questions, guys.
In essence, we can follow 311 and watch all the complaints about the city.
You want to actually do you?
Actually, it's SF311, right?
Yeah,
It's
SF311.
And you're, because you're doing it through direct messages.
Exactly, that's
it's
the
a
deal.
different, it's a little bit of a different use case, because you can't actually see everyone's complaints. The complaints are going in more of an anonymous way, right? And that's probably for a significant reason.
Right, they're not
A little closer.
they're not then displayed out to the public. We do put out reports within our website that shows, different, what's the most requested services, that sort of thing. But you wouldn't see all the requests that are coming in through that. Well, there's privacy issues. I mean, we do get the Twitter name that we use as an account when we're creating the request, so there's privacy issues.
I think it's a good way to start too, because especially there's a lot of people that don't know about Twitter yet, and if you're introducing them to this, you want to lower that barrier as much as possible to get them to feel comfortable submitting a complaint about something. Maybe it's a touchy subject. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
My neighbor.
Especially if it's your neighbor.
Yeah.
You got it. Exactly right.
So I think this is a smart way to start, and then you'll see where it goes from there. You guys are obviously, you work quickly, so you'll iterate fast, and you'll see what works best.
Will departments be charged if they get as they are with
No charges at all. No. Oh, no. I mean, Muni, again, no, the whole issue in Muni was you pay for a service. If you want that service, you pay for it. Every department pays for their service. That's what enterprise departments do. If you want to be more business-like, you got to operate more business-like, which means if you want a service, you pay for a service. And so that's the overall operation, though, of the system, not the individual calls or tweets.
You're going to have staff members taking in tweets.
Yeah, and tell us how you're doing. You're able to do that within
Right.
existing staff.
It would
though
be-
ideally, you wanted more, but we're not in a